What's going on YouTube? My name is Ginge TCG or Chris, and today I'm back with another Budew rogue deck. Budew, if you haven't seen, is pretty much like the most playable card coming out of Prismatic Evolution. For 30 HP and a free retreat, you can put your opponent under item lock for free, for 0 energy. You're only doing 10 damage, you don't have much HP, but when you shut down 60% of many opponents' decks and take away items from them, their decks tend to brick a lot, and Budew becomes very annoying to work around. So, last time I paired it with Dusknoir to get big board wipes. This time I'm pairing it with Skeledirge EX, a very forgotten about Terra Pokemon, which has an ability that you may discard a fire energy once during your turn, and when you do, your Pokemon do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So essentially, if you could get one Skeledirge in play, your Budew will be swinging for 70, and if you could get two, your Budew will be swinging for 130 damage, which is pretty insane considering you're attacking for free. We are pairing that with the Pidgeot engine to allow us to quick search our deck for one card, which is probably an energy card or a Night Stretcher or something like that, put it into our hand, and then continue putting our opponent under item lock, putting the pressure on. In the late game, we can sweep with Radiant Charizard. Since we're already playing fire energy, I figured this would be a phenomenal single prize Pokemon that you could use in the late game, where you can do 250 damage with Combustion Blast, taking some big KOs. For more consistency, we're playing one copy of Lumineon and one copy of Fezandipiti. I'm not including Rotom in this list because ideally you like to go second, put your opponent under item lock as soon as possible, and you also are never really going to instant charge because, again, you're going to be trying to use Budew the entire game and just annoy your opponents, really climb up the ladder and cheese some fun wins out. Now, the reason I'm playing, the Crocalor as well as the Pidgeotto over here is because the A-Spec for the deck, I am rocking with Grand Tree. I just feel like having Grand Tree on top of Rare Candies adds a new level of consistency to the deck and allows you to thin your deck more, which is something fun to do, and I haven't showed off Grand Tree too much, so I thought it would be pretty fun to showcase in this deck. To make sure that we don't have an unideal Pokemon in the active as well on our first turn, we have an insane amount of Switch type cards. So, like, Fuecoco has 2 retreat costs. Pretty much everything else that we could start with, except for Radiant Charizard as well, has 1 retreat cost, like Lumineon, Fezandipiti, Pidgey, all got that 1 retreat cost. So if we don't lead Budew where we need to, I am playing 1 Switch, but I'm also playing 1 copy of Professor Turo Scenario, which could even pick up Skeledirge EX if that's in the active spot, because that 3 retreat cost is most likely not going to be something that's happening. And I'm playing a copy of Surfer to switch our active Pokemon with one of our bench Pokemon and then draw up to 5. So I feel like between all of those Switch cards, we should have plenty, and of course Rescue Board. We're playing an Arven deck. I forgot to mention Rescue Board. It's there for all the 1 retreat Pokemon. All of these other cards are really for those, like, Fuecocos or Skeledirges in the mid and late game, stuff like that that we can't get out of the active. Since I'm not playing Rotom, but I'm playing Lumineon, I am still playing Forest Seal Stone, so I can play Lumineon, look for Surfer or Arven, and still get that Forest Seal Stone, so use Star Alchemy. We're playing 4 copies of Arven, 3 copies of Iono. Those are going to be our consistency supporter cards, as on top of 1 copy of Colress's Tenacity, which can get us that basic fire energy needed to do more damage with Budew, as well as a Stadium card. And the Stadium cards in this deck are a little fun. I've got a little bit of versatility with Stadiums. I've got Artazon to make sure that in the early game I'm getting down the Pokemon when I need them. I'm getting down the Budews, the Pidgeys, the Fuecocos. I've got Grand Tree for the early and mid game to make sure I'm evolving into Skeledirge and Pidgeot EX and allowing myself to do more damage and search out Pokemon, as well as Magma Basin for the late game to recycle those energy onto Radiant Charizard and make sure we're taking our big cleanup KOs with this guy on Combustion Blast. Now, for items in the deck, I'm playing a whole bunch of one-ofs, except for anything that's consistency-based. And by that, I mean I've got 4 Nest Balls, 4 Ultra Balls, 3 Pokegears. I want to make sure I find my supporters, as well as find my Pokemon. Other than that, we've got 2 copies of Earthen Vessel to dig out our energy, 3 copies of Rare Candy, which I guess is a lot. I should mention that too, to evolve into our, evolution Pokemon. But then I've just got 1 copy of Counter Catcher, 1 copy of Night Stretcher, 1 copy of Super Rod, 1 copy of Switch. Those are kind of those, like, supplemental cards that, you could flex around. You can move some of these around. Maybe you play 2 Rod, maybe you play 2 Night Stretcher and you get rid of the Counter Catcher. That's these are the cards you can play around with. I like having 1 of each of these. I like having 2 overall recovery cards, 1 Switch Pivot, and 1 Gust item type card, because we're only playing 1 Boss's Orders in this deck. I'm putting a lot of value on this Surfer, and that's kind of where I made the space. When I originally had 2 Boss, I'm like, you know what, Surfer is a fun card. It could help me get out of like some Gust loops, and the reason why I'm so concerned with switching out is because we're playing an item lock deck, so a lot of times your opponent will Gust up one of your bench Pokemon, like a Skeledirge EX that has a high retreat cost, to make sure that on your next turn you're not using item lock and they can play the game. So I want to make sure I've got outs to those. So I'm kind of sacking my Gusting cards, and that's why I really want 1 copy of Counter Catcher in this list. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the deck. This deck is a ton of fun. Definitely a solid ladder deck. Definitely a solid local deck. I don't know if it's at the level of regional yet. Maybe one day. I think the Budew Dusknoir deck has a lot more power with the board life, and it could pop off a little sooner. I just think this combo's a little more fun, a little more chaotic, definitely a lot spicier, and I definitely wanted to show it off. I feel like this has been my long-awaiting deck since I saw Budew. I instantly thought Skeledirge. I'm like, Skeledirge would make this card so annoying, so fun. Definitely make a bunch of your opponents rage quit, because you're going to be swinging with Budew way harder than they're already expecting. With the popularity of it on the ladder, I figured, you know what, at least our Budew will swing the hardest. So that's pretty much where this deck is coming from. I definitely hope you guys enjoy the video, but before we do, I just wanted to remind everyone I got that TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below. Just clicking on the TCG Player link, which ties to my channel, will support the channel when you order anything on TCG Player. And TCG Player has all of the singles, decks, deck accessories, you name it, any card game, doesn't matter, it's on TCG Player. So just click on that link and ordering stuff within 48 hours, because I know you're doing it anyways for all the card games y'all play, will support the channel. So thank you so much to everyone who's done that. And thank you so much to just like tuning into this video and tuning into my channel and just watching and taking some time in this space to hang out. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, with that being said, let's hop in today's match and see how well we can do with Budew Skeledirge. Welcome to match number 1, where it is Budew versus Budew. Exactly what I expected to happen at some point in this video, because I feel like Budew is all over the format. However, my Budews will hopefully be swinging for even more damage than my opponents. They get down Radiant Greninja and Vessel. We'll see if they're playing Water Energy, and if that Greninja is something I should be terrified of. I've got a feeling it might be. They get rid of Research too. Doesn't tell me what they're playing yet. They get Fire and Water. I'm thinking it's Cerulege, which, in all honesty, might be a pretty bad matchup for our deck. I mean, they got Palkia, which is annoying. You know, we're two-shotting Palkia, I think. No, I think we're actually just short on that too. Cerulege, we are also a little short on two-shotting, and it's Eevee. Okay, so it's a Flareon, and I have no idea what else. Probably Flareon Jolteon, if I had to take a guess. A deck that's very reliant on items. They need Buddy Puffins, they need Ultra Balls, they need Vessels, they get Fezandipiti down. Okay. Alright, we can take this. Cerulege, I was going to say, is a lot scarier. They're also swinging for weakness. Boss KO on Skeledirge, because we're weak to fire with that guy. So that would have hurt too. However, we are able to pull off Arven. So I think off Arven, I want to go, what, Nest Ball, take out Pidgey, and then maybe Forest Seal Stone. I sadly can't get down Pidgey and Fuecoco this turn. But I think that's okay, because as long as I can get a Pidgeot next turn, I can work on getting my board established as fast as possible. So I'll take down not a Budew. I will take down a Pidgey here. My opponent has 1 card in hand. They got rid of 2 Research on their first turn. I am assuming the last cards in their hand are Ultra Ball. I think the best bet for us, let's bench Fezandipiti, just to thin another card out of the deck. You never know, just in case. Then we'll go Itchy Pollen. If my opponent pulls off a Radiant Greninja play next turn, I don't know how it's likely, but if they do, I'm going to scream because we would lose. So I'm just going to bench Fezandipiti just in case. We saw they play the Water Energy. I'd rather cover all my bases here. And yep, there's the 3rd Research my opponent has played. They can get 1 Evolution evolved this turn. This will be their hopefully last turn. Oh, no, they're in item lock, actually, so they can't play Ultra Ball. They can't play many cards that they might need, unless they just have it in hand, and of course they do. Vaporeon EX, a fun one. Severe Squall, 60 damage to each of your opponent's EX. Okay, so they can start littering a lot of damage on Fezandipiti, but that's it. And that's annoying, actually. Wow, now benching Fezandipiti went from a saving play to make sure that I could live a Radiant Greninja to the only thing that could actually get attacked this turn. But we top deck Pidgeot. That's nuts. That's actually easily the best top deck I could have asked for here. So now I can go Arven, and I can Arven for Nest Ball. We don't have any other tools. That's fine. I can get a Fuecoco down, which feels great. And you know what? I might even get 2 Fuecocos down, just because. Yeah, you know what? Do I have Grand Tree in the deck? Let's do it. Yes, I do. All right, let's get 2 Fuecocos down. You never know. You never know when that might save you. My opponent does have Sparkling Crystal attached to their active, so they could pull off an Aquamarine this turn, swing to 80. I'm not too scared of that, though. I think I just want to get as many Fuecocos down as possible. So I'm going to play Nest Ball just to thin out an extra card from the deck to take out Nest Ball. I'm going to use Nest Ball for Fuecoco. Now that's 2 cards less in our deck, and hopefully allows us to draw into something that we could use a little bit more next turn. I don't think I need to attach the Fire Energy or Rescue Board anywhere yet. I'm just going to hold on to those. I'm going to swing Itchy Pollen and put my opponent at 270 damage. Next turn will be a turn where I am going to attempt to go for a full 130 with Budew. That would feel pretty good. And then we could try to get ahead as fast as possible. Duel my opponent's Vaporeon EX before they are swinging with Aquamarine or anything insane, but no, they're going to Iono us, giving us a new 6. We're losing 2 energy, but maybe getting more stuff to evolve into Skeledirge here, and we are. We are able to get Ultra Ball, which can get a Skeledirge, and I can Pidgeot for Grand Tree. I can Arven for Rare Candy. I could pull it off this turn, actually. That's actually pretty nuts. Depending on if my opponent Aquamarines or not, I'm curious to see if that's our play. They can pull it off. They do have 2 energy attached. They might just want to start littering damage onto Pidgeot and Fezandipiti, and that is exactly what they're going to do. Before I get too worried about Fezandipiti next turn, I will probably just go for a, Turo. So I'll need to check if that's in the deck too for next turn, so my opponent doesn't take a KO on that. For now, we are going to Ultra Ball and get rid of Iono and Artazon. Take out a Skeledirge from the deck. I'm going to keep the last Ultra Ball. And let's check if Turo is in the deck. It is. Alright, that's perfect. So now I can, like, full heal my Fezandipiti, essentially. So, how do I do this? We are going to quick search for Grand Tree. Where is this card? It is the little pink card that is going to save me the game right here. Alright, perfect. My opponent doesn't play any stage 2s, so we'll be getting a lot more value out of this than they will. I can bench Grand Tree. I can play Arven. I can take out Rare Candy, and let's take out Force Heal Stone. You never know when I get that Lumineon. I got Ultra Ball, so if I need to search for one, I can. I don't need the Rescue Board yet. I'm not too worried about getting that in play. We can Rare Candy, evolve 1 Fuecoco. I can Grand Tree and get out another Fuecoco because I have Crocalor in the deck. And then, boom, Skeledirge EX. Alright, so now we're swinging for max damage once I use this vessel. And I think here, you know what? We're actually going to get rid of the Ultra Ball. I think I need to. Just make sure I'm getting energy in play and allowing myself to attack for as much damage as I can every single turn. So we'll use 1 Incendiary Song, and we'll get rid of an energy. And then we'll use another Incendiary Song, get rid of a second energy. Boom, 130 damage, just like that. Onto Vaporeon EX, putting them at 140 HP remaining. We are 10 damage short. I'm taking a bigger KO this turn. That is a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We'll make it work. However I gotta do it, we're gonna make it work. We have Quick Search. If they take a KO, we could go flip the script next turn. I almost hope they go Aquamarine here, like really bad. And they're playing a Dark Energy. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so they've got Fire, Water, Dark, and Psychic. I have no idea what my opponent is playing anymore. They get rid of another EVEX. They might be playing every evolution possible if they are playing. I mean, I saw the Water and the Electric and the Fire, and I'm like, okay, they're playing, you know, some form of Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon. I assume Flareon, Jolteon, because I feel like those are the two most, probably the 2 strongest out of the evolutions that we were given. I made a video on the combo between the 2. It was a ton of fun to play. Vaporeon, I didn't expect to see Psychic Energy, Dark Energy, all that extra stuff. Might hurt my opponent's consistency, which could be our saving grace here. So they are going to Aquamarine, buying us that extra turn to hopefully just get a little more aggressive on maybe a different Pokemon. So let's promote Pidgeot. It's a free retreat, and I do love to see a free retreat. I also have Fezandipiti, which is kind of nice too, and Night Stretcher. All right, that's a solid top deck. You know, even if I have to swing for just 10 damage this turn with Budew, that doesn't feel bad at all, because then I could save up energy, so my opponent's Vaporeon is at 130, and then next turn I can Night Stretcher up an energy, swing for KO that way. I think I like that play the most. I can Quick Search here as well. I could Iono my opponent, put them back down to 5. But then I lose the energy that's in my hand, which is great for next turn, but my opponent has 8 cards in hand, and generally, the more cards in your opponent's hand, the worse. We've only got 1 Iono left. Ooh. We have 2 in the discard, don't we? No, we have 1, so 1 is prized. Okay, I might wait 1 more turn. Then, I think the best play for us is going to be to take what? What could save us? What can bring us joy? Maybe just another Nest Ball, just get down another Budew. Budew, not Budew. Just have a backup Budew in play. Let's do that. I like having another backup Budew. My opponent will take their second prize card this turn, which is fine, because then I'm going to take a KO on Vaporeon EX next turn. So there's our quick search. Let's retreat, go into Budew, and just use Itchy Pollen for 10. This way, I can take the KO next turn with a full swinging Incendiary Song charged Budew. You know, I can Night Stretcher, get back a second energy into my hand. I can use both Incendiary Songs, allow Budew to swing 130, and take the final damage off of Vaporeon, giving us a KO. My opponent evolves into Sylveon EX, which is a very annoying Pokemon, and they play Iono. Okay, that's fine, actually. They Iono themselves. They give themselves a smaller hand, but they give us a new hand, and we get an energy out of it. So now I can Pidgeot, and I can look for maybe our second Vessel. I think might not be a bad shout. Unless we can Arven, we could get Arven off Pokegear. I don't know, we got options, but it's not going to matter. My opponent's going to concede. They did not see a way out for themselves. Maybe they couldn't get energy into play, and I feel like that's kind of the downside of playing an insane amount of evolutions. You can play Crispin, but you can't play those Vessels. You cannot get those energy into your hand and allow yourself to keep attaching every turn. We might have been able to run ahead with it against our opponent since we were swinging for KO. We did have KO in hand, since if nothing else, I could have just quick searched for energy. And then we could have gotten even more aggressive on our opponent and just keep looping that type of play, even if we're swinging for just 70 damage. So that was a solid match number 1 with Budew Skeledirge. Let's hop into match number 2 and see if we can continue this momentum and take down game number 2, giving us the positive record. Welcome to match number 2. My opponent is playing a, where is their mulligans? Right here. Okay, they're playing a evolution deck. They got Vaporeon EX. Actually, is it the same opponent? My gosh, that would be insane. We open up with a solid hand, though, so I can definitely get after it quick. And oh my gosh, they got the cool Eevee. That Eevee actually looks sick, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I never saw that art yet, or I never took a minute to look at it until now, but Eevee sitting all the flowers like that is kind of adorable, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's the same deck, because this one is playing the Knockout engine, and I don't think our opponent was playing that engine last time, so they will just get 1 energy attached, and then pass it on over to us. We'll see what they got in hand. For now, I do want to Nest Ball first, and take down a Pidgey. Our deck functions a whole lot better with Pidgey. Sure, swinging for more damage is always great, but it doesn't necessarily save us game. And we'll go for Iono. Ah, man, I really don't want to play Iono, though. I almost want to Ultra Ball. Just take out Lumineon now. Just take Arven. Get rid of Rare Candy, Radiant Charizard, maybe? Could always Rod or Night Stretcher Charizard back. I could get rid of 1 energy. We could live with 6 energy with our deck. And I don't want to get rid of Rare Candy either, because we got Rare Candy Pidgeot in hand. Let's get rid of these guys. I'll regret this later. I'll deal with that regret later. For now, let's take out a Lumineon, and let's use Lumineon for Arven. And if I'm going to play this way, I'm going to try to be as aggressive as possible. We'll use Luminous Sign. I will search for Arven, which can get me a Nest Ball and Forest Seal Stone. Right? Yeah. Nest Ball, Forest Seal Stone over here. Perfect. And then I can Nest Ball for Fuecoco. Do I use Forest Seal Stone now and get a second Fuecoco down? I'm actually really tempted. I'm not gonna lie. It's a Forest Seal Stone now. Then I can Rare Candy into Pidgeot. I can play Iono. Hopefully I get into Hopefully I get Grand Tree. Ultra Ball, Rare Candy. I could get 2 Fuecocos down. I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna rock with 1 Fuecoco. That's fine for now. We'll take our time. We'll take our time with the setup. I don't need to rush it. I need to see what my opponent can do next turn. I might need to use that Forest Seal Stone if I need to get another Budew down next turn or something. I don't know. Like, things could get a little difficult, especially if my opponent plays Sparkling Crystal or something like that, and they play Jewel Seeker knocked out. Well, I knew that. I'm curious to see what they take with Jewel Seeker. I don't know why I was so surprised they played Jewel Seeker from hand. Obviously, that makes sense. They have a Terra Pokemon in play. They can search for 2 trainer cards. They can't get any items, so they can take supporters and tools. Sparkling Crystal is the tool I am terrified of, because that will allow them to attack this turn and do 200 damage, which, I mean, it KOs Budew, and that's really all they got to do. We can try to work on 2-shotting Budew. Actually, if I can swing for 70 and then 130, we'll be KOing EVEX, which is massive. That would give us 2 big prize cards, which would tie us up and put us in a better position to use Radiant Charizard in the late game, keeping pace with my opponent. So they search for Terra Orb and Arven. I don't think my opponent realizes that That Terra Orb. That Terra Orb has this cool text in blue called item on top, and they search for 2 cards and then don't play either of them. They actually stick them on the bottom of the deck. I'm not upset about that. We had a banger of a hand, and I draw into another banger of a hand. I can Grand Tree. I don't remember if Pidgeotto is in the deck. That could be the only problem here. But I do get Fuecoco, which feels good. So if Pidgeotto's in the deck, I can get Pidgeot, and then I can search for Rare Candy. I could pull off a Skeledirge play this turn. If Pidgeot is not, or Pidgeotto's not in the deck, well, at least I'll be getting a Skeledirge GX in the play. It's not bad. I could do some damage with Skeledirge. There's nothing stopping me from attaching energy to a Skeledirge and trying to get after it that way. And we get an energy here too. Oh, that's big. So if I could pull off a full evolution, that would be awesome. Let's use Grand Tree. See what I can do with this. Praying Pidgeotto's here. Thank gosh. All right, so we'll get this guy. And then I'll evolve into Pidgeot. Now I got Quick Search. So I can go for a big Rare Candy play. I might have to get rid of Turo and Counter Catcher. Or maybe Ultra Ball. Maybe get rid of Ultra Ball and Counter Catcher here. I don't think, I mean, Gust cards are huge. Turo, I mean, we got plenty of switch outs. I might need it to heal damage. I saw they are playing Vaporeon. They could litter some damage onto Pidgeot at some point. I'm going to get rid of Counter Catcher. And we're going to take the Skeledirge here. Actually, you know what I could do? I could take like a Arven. Does Arven get me anything great? Not really. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking with Quick Search. I'm using Quick Search. I'm using Ultra Ball right now. No. Let me definitely take Arven off Pidgeot EX. That, I was thinking about just taking Rare Candy. No. I'm all turned around. All right, I'm not thinking straight at all. Let's get the Arven. I'll go for Rare Candy, Forest Seal Stone. I don't think I need to use Forest Seal Stone this turn, however. I think I can pass on that. I think I can just hold it in hand. Famous last words. A lot of I thinks. Not a lot of I knows. Not a lot of I know what's going on. Just a whole lot of praying. So let's Incendiary Song. Get rid of an energy. Swing for 70. Right? That won't fix it? Yeah, okay. And then my opponent will have 120 HP left on their active, which is good. If I can pull off the Grand Tree play next turn, evolve into Skeledirge GX, I can Pidgeot and Quick Search for another Arven probably. And then with Arven, I can look for Earthen Vessel, and I might as well just take the Rod to thin it out of the deck. I can get rid of Rod, take 2 energy, get rid of those with Skeledirge GX, and boom, KO on EVX. We're actually up a prize card because my opponent didn't take a KO yet. They're using Grand Tree to search their deck, but there's no Stage 2 Pokemon they have in play. Oh. I didn't think about them just using it for a just a Stage 1. That's actually really smart for my opponent. So they get Flareon EX in play, and my gosh, do they have a drippy evolution deck. They got the cool Flareon, where they can Burning Charge. If they could get it set up, I am imagining they go Crispin here. I don't see a world where we don't see a Crispin, right? That would allow my opponent, no, Area 0 Under Depths and Iono. That's fine. I do have Forest Seal Stone in hand. That is a painful card to lose, but drawing 6... well, that never hurt anyone. So, my opponent still cannot attack this turn. They are still 1 energy short, again, unless they play Sparkling Crystal. If they play that A-Spec, if they play that scary little tool, they can take a KO this turn and kind of, you know, put us into a little bit of a tight spot, but nothing I'm too scared of. And there's Jolteon EX2. Alright, so my opponent is playing some crazy Pokemon, and they bump our Grand Tree and get Area 0 Under Depths into play. That is unfortunate. We did need that to pull off the perfect Rare Candy evolution play. And this hand doesn't get me too much unless I can Pokegear into Arven. And they get Flareon, they do evolve, get Burning Charge set up, and now they're out of one-shot range. We actually have to spend 2 more times attacking them. So that is a little problematic. Not the end of the world, though. Not the end of the world. They get another Flareon set up. This is scary, because I can one-shot Skeledirge GX. Alright. And I can't set up Skeledirge for the KO this turn. My opponent has 190 damage. It would have been awesome if I could have swung for KO. Why am I? Thank gosh I misclicked and I did not get Skeledirge into the active. I would have screamed. That would have ruined us. Alright, Ultra Ball here is huge. I got a Budew. I do have Vessel. I need to play Pokegear though. Hope I get Arven. There it is. Alright. So now I can use Arven to look for Rare Candy, Forest Seal Stone. I'm going to use Forest Seal Stone this turn as well. That is a guarantee. So, honestly, I might have to Forest Seal Stone for Fuecoco. Or Skeledirge. Right? I can't really gust anything up. I got rid of Counter Catcher, actually, too. So, what else is it sitting in my discard pile? We got some good things in here, don't we? Yeah, that Radiant Charizard is going to be awesome. Maybe in the late game. Maybe I just... No, definitely swinging them active. I'll deal with my opponent's active Flareon. with another Budew or two. If they take 3 prize cards, they take 3 prize cards. There's really not much I can do about it, is there? So let me start Alchemy. Let me get Skeledirge in play. Let me get this guy down. So now I can Rare Candy evolve. I can use Vessel. I'm actually really tempted to set up a Skeledirge EX and use this guy as an attacker. He could do some big damage. Could swing for KO on a Flareon EX, and I am going to be two-shotting my opponent's Flareon anyway, so I actually don't see a problem with taking 2 energy off this Vessel, attaching one to Skeledirge. Still have Quick Search, don't I? Yes, I do. Alright, so you know what? Let's get Fezandipiti too. While I'm at it, let me draw 3 cards. Start getting live with this thing. So the reason I'm not going for a double Incendiary Song, unless I draw into an energy, then maybe, but it doesn't save me. I'm still two-shotting this Flareon, no matter what I do, and I get another Vessel. Okay, wait, that's actually kind of crazy. Let me Vessel away Ultra Ball. Let me just take out the last energy from the deck. If I could put on the most pressure on my opponent's active Flareon, I definitely want to. So here, we can retreat into Budew. I can Nest Ball, get down another Budew. I just want to thin the deck as much as I can here. Now I got a Budew for next turn as well. I'm going to manual attach 1 energy. How many energies in the discard pile? 2. Okay. So I'll get rid of 2 energy with Incendiary Song, right? My opponent's 190. Yeah, I have to. Alright. It's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. I can Rod 3 back, and I can Night Stretcher get back Radiant Charizard. And now next turn, all I have to do is get rid of 1 energy. I can KO their active, assuming they don't retreat. If they retreat, well, I mean, we'll be in a bit of a rougher spot, but it's not the end of the world. They get a water energy attached to their bench. Yeah, we're definitely going to see a retreat play here. They are going to go into a full HP Flareon, which is good. Actually, you know what? If I could take a KO on this Flareon this turn, assuming they use, oh my god, Boss KO on Skeledirge. Man, the one with the energy too. I could still take a KO Radiant Charizard. No, not actually. My opponent's taking 3 prize cards, which means how much? Radiant Charizard needs 2 energy. Is Magma Basin in the deck? I don't remember. But if I could take a KO Radiant Charizard here, that would be huge for us. Bumping their Stadium 2, they'd have no energy in play. They'd be stuck. They could use items, and we get Rod. Oh my god. Wait, that's actually massive. That is so big. Alright. How do I want to do this first? Let's Night Stretcher. Let's get Radiant Charizard back now. My opponent gets a turn of items here. They get a turn of items here. So be it. Can't do it all. I'm going to keep Rod in the deck just in case. I am going to manual attach this energy to Radiant Charizard. I'm going to Iono first. Put my opponent at 3 cards. Put me at 6 cards. Then I will flip the script, and then I will Quick Search. And try to dig out whatever's needed. Probably Magma Basin, which I don't know if it's in the deck, which is a little problematic, but not the end of the world. We'll figure something out. And I could search the deck here with Nest Ball. I will find out. Actually, you know what? I could use Pokegear too. But I might need Pokegear to thin out another... No, I don't want to play that. Alright. Yeah, let's Nest Ball. Let me check. Is Basin is not in the deck. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Of course Basin's prized. Is there any other way I could do this without... I can't get another energy attached. I could just put my opponent under item lock. Doesn't hurt. I don't really want to... I guess I could flip the script. I could Quick Search. I don't want to get rid of... I don't know if I have another energy to get rid of either, to be fair. Let me flip the script here. I got an Iono, just in case. I could get some cards in my deck and not do anything but top deck. That's huge. Alright. So I can Rod, get back 3 energy. Quick Search for 1. Just so I can use Incendiary Song and put this active Flareon in KO range as well. Does it say this Pokemon can attack? This Pokemon can attack. Actually, they might be stuck too. So item lock here wouldn't be bad. You know what? We're not out yet. We're not out just yet, but it definitely doesn't feel great. Okay, so let's use our 1 Incendiary Song. Swing for 70. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that Radiant Charizard can KO both of these Flareons. My opponent has 3 cards in hand. I'm curious to see if any of them are draw supporters. If they take a KO, Radiant Charizard can swing for 1 energy, which is huge. Because then I can use Radiant Charizard, take a KO, and then I can use Switch and Rescue Board, or for your treats out of my many pivots, and take KOs that way. And now they can do 10 more damage. Victini is a 2 energy attacker that can swing for KO on Budew. However, I'm not too scared of that when Radiant Charizard is going to be in the active next turn. I do have one more Iono, so I could Iono my opponent down to 2 cards once they get a little bit of a bigger hand. I definitely don't want to do it yet, and they pass, giving us the KO with Radiant Charizard. Okay. Alright, this feels pretty good. Is there anything worth quick searching for here? Not sure. How many energy do we have left in the deck? 2. Eef. That don't feel great. Let's take Boss. Let's just get... Actually, no. We need an energy. We have no energy. Okay, yeah, let me take 1 energy. Because they did not take a KO. So Radiant Charizard still needs 2 energy to attack. Let me take 1 energy here. Smack it on Radiant Charizard. And then I can use my free retreat on this guy over here. Swing for KO. Don't need a Turo, anything up yet. We'll see. If they damage something, they might not swing for a full KO. Because I don't know. This is going to be tricky. This is going to be a mess to close out, but we could do it. We could do it. We might have to do the entire, all 6 prize cards with Radiant Charizard. But, my gosh, will I do it? Or try to. Try to as best I can. I get Surfer as well. It's another phenomenal switch card that I can use. I draw up to 5. But if I have more than 5 cards in my hand, it just functions as a switching supporter card, which is really all I needed to do. And they promote Flareon EX, which is interesting. They can't attack with it yet. We need to see a Crispin hit the floor. They have not played any, and they scoop here. That is insane. That is going to be another huge victory for this Budew deck. And again, just running our opponent out of energy. They could just not get the ball rolling. Next turn, all I had to do was use Switch Cart into Pidgeot for your retreat, back into Radiant Charizard, boom, KO. And the turn after that, I just boss up whatever else was on their bench. Something else. No, Jolteon. Jolteon, I could have taken a KO. No, Jolteon has 260. I could have used a final energy to swing for more damage with Radiant Charizard after the final Incendiary Song. That would have been the 2-4-6 play right there. It was all in hand. My opponent didn't have much of a response. That's going to be the guaranteed positive record. We are 2-0 for the day. Let's hop into match number 3. See if we can close it out with the perfect record with Budew Skeledirge. Welcome to match number 3. My opponent took 1 mulligan, played a bunch of grass and Psychic Energy and a Mirage Gate. I had a feeling this was Lost Box Giratina, and I'm staring down a Giratina V. So if I've ever seen a Lost Box Giratina deck, here it is, and we have a solid hand, which I can get going with. Actually, it's not perfect, but I'm definitely not going to complain. I'm going to take a Nest Ball here, and we don't even have Force Seal Stone. All right, now it's a little bit harder. That's okay. We've got Lumineon, right? That's good enough. I'm going to Nest Ball. I'm going to take a Pidgey down and out of the deck. I could Ultra Ball as well. I could get rid of Rescue Board and Pidgeot, but I don't want to play. I need Lumineon next turn to get Arven, to get Rare Candy, to get Pidgeot in play. So, you know what? We're actually just going to hold off on all the extra stuff for now. I'm just going to Itchy Pond and tell my opponent that he cannot play any item cards. And shutting down item cards against a Lost Box deck is phenomenal. That shuts down Switch Cart, Pokegears, it shuts down Mirage Gates, it shuts down Rod, it shuts down Night Stretcher. This is a deck that relies on an insane amount of items. So just to lock them into Abyss Seeking all the way to KO, as well as making them use manual attachments too, is huge. And my opponent gets rid of Countercatcher Jet Energy, 2 cards I love to see hit the discard pile, and I get an Iono, which I actually don't want to play yet. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to wait 1 more turn. I don't, famous last words, don't think my opponent is taking a KO. Whoopsies, that's not what I want. I want you. I don't think my opponent is taking a KO this turn. I want to use Iono next turn. I want to see 1 more Abyss Seeking. I want to see your hand get a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to take it from you. I'm going to use Lumineon right now. Get the Arven. The Arven is going to let me get Rare Candy. Rare Candy is going to let me get Pidgeot, and then Pidgeot is going to let me get a Fuecoco. And then I can use, what do you call it? Iono next turn. So here, I do think I want to take Nest Ball. I just want to keep thinning my deck as much as possible. Do the best I can with that. So take 1 Nest Ball. smack down a Fuecoco, and the more we swing for with Budew, the better, because my opponent might have a rough time drawing into the cards they need. And if we need to use Skeledirge GX as an attacker this matchup, it's actually really not a bad one. 2 Incendiary Songs, and we are one-shotting a Giratina V-Star, and they cannot one-shot us back unless they play Max Belt. And I'd imagine they played Prime Catcher or Precious Trolley. Maybe Unfair Stamp. All 3 of those are item cards. If they play Max Belt, they can one-shot Skeledirge, but luckily that's not our main attacker, so I'm not too worried about that. They get a Shuppet down, so they are using the Bayonet Lost Box engine. They are going to recycle supporters with Bayonet to Lost Zone, Bayonet, and Shuppet, and then take Colress out of the discard pile. That is super interesting, actually. I kind of love that. I'm not going to lie. It's been a while since I've seen a Giratina deck, and it has been a while since I've seen a spicy Giratina deck. However, this one is it. But if they use that Abyss Seeking here after a Colress, oh my gosh! That is a lot of cards in their hand, and that is going to make Iono feel that much sweeter. And there is the Abyss Seeking. My opponent will go up to 12 cards in their hand. They will have, what, 5 cards? 6 cards in the Lost Zone after this turn, which will allow them to use Cram, I guess. But, I mean, good luck switching it out of the active. We kind of just have to hope they don't get Iono into Grass Energy, and they get a Colress down there, too. Okay. Now it is terrifying to bench 2 Budews against this deck because they can use Radiant Greninja, they can use Sableye, they can do a whole lot. However, I don't think they're at Sableye potential yet. I'm going to bench it. I'm going to regret that later. I'm going to Iono right now. Just bench it because I know I need 2, and I don't think they'll be getting a bench snipe attacker in the next turn. Question mark on that. I'm not 100% certain that that's totally truthful. I'm not able to get Skeledirge GX or Rare Candy out of the deck, and I get Crocalor, so I can't even search for Grand Tree. Alright, well, that's annoying. I don't mind taking a 3rd attack with Fuecoco if I need to. For now, you know what, let's evolve into Crocalor, and let's quick search, let's get down another Pidgeot. Or Pidgeot, excuse me, another Fuecoco. Oh my gosh, please don't get another Pidgeot, Chris. That would be awful. Let's do this. Let's smack down another Fuecoco. Is Grand Tree in the deck? Because I don't mind using Grand Tree against Giratina V-Star. It is. Okay, perfect. So I could quick search for that next turn. And I think here, all I want to do, Itchy Pollen. Just Itchy Pollen for 10. Put my opponent at 30 damage done. They have 190 HP left. We are not close to KO range yet, but chip damage is chip damage. They've got a much smaller hand, and well, hopefully they can't use Shred this turn. That would be awesome if they could. I'm really going to regret not smacking that Fire Energy down on Crocalor and using Giratina. They get another Shuppet. I think this is the turn where we try to get some extra energy down and they get Sableye. So we might be seeing another Abyss Seeking this turn as well, which is fine. Actually, the more I think about it, they get a Grass Energy too. Man, okay. They could use Shred, start taking KOs, but no, they go Abyss Seeking. That's actually good for us. They're going to get some more cards in the Lost Zone. They will be at 8, so they'll be close to a Sableye play, which is going to be a little devastating. We got some tanky Pokemon. We do have Turo, which could be huge as well. And they get rid of, what was that, Pokegear and a Mirage Gate? Okay. My opponent is getting rid of all of their Mirage Gates now, which is phenomenal for us. I love Ultra Ball here. But what do I get rid of? I could get rid of Arven. I definitely don't want to get rid of Iono, but I don't have a second card to get rid of. I don't think I'm going to, actually. I think the best play for us is to quick search, go into a Skeledirge EX. I'm going to Arven for Rare Candy. I'm going to leave Crocalor in play. I don't need to pull off the double Incendiary Song this turn. It's not going to save us. What did I just take? Yeah, okay, perfect. Just making sure I did the right thing. I've got a bad habit of zoning out when I talk and record and then not understanding everything I'm doing perfectly. But I do want to attach this energy. I want to attach this energy to Skeledirge EX so bad. But I also want to swing for bigger numbers on Giratina. Man. Okay. You know what? It is what it is. Let's use Incendiary Song. You know what I could do? I could wait before evolving next turn. I could use Magma Basin to get this energy attached to Crocalor. Then I can manual attach all before I evolve into Skeledirge. That would be huge. For now, we'll swing 170. If my opponent does not retreat, and they leave their active unevolved and in the active spot, well, I can use double Incendiary Song next turn, swing for KO, because I have 120 HP remaining. And if they evolve into Giratina V-Star this turn and swing for KO, well, they're getting rid of 2 energy, or they are using Star Requiem on a Budew, which would actually be the funniest thing I would ever see, I'm not going to lie. And they get Crispin down. Okay, that's not a Colress, which is what they needed to pull off Sableye. That was the card I was the most scared of. But either way, using Lost Impact and Lost Zoning 2 energy, or using Star Requiem on a Budew might be the worst thing my opponent has seen. And they just shuffled their deck. They didn't... Oh, no. They attached the Grass Energy. Okay, so they did actually use the full thing. And they got the Psychic Energy down on Sableye. They can swing with Shred this turn. If they do that, they are... No, they Abyss Seeking. Oh. And then they'll have how many cards in the Lost Zone? They'll have 10 cards in the Lost Zone. Okay. Meaning that their Sableye can get to work next turn. They can take 2 KOs on my 2 Budews. I knew I would regret that. Oh well, we're here now. Not much I can do about it. For now, for us, what is the play? I want to pull off the double energy. So I want to see if I could Pokegear here, get an Arven. I get an Iono. That's not perfect. I'll make it work. I'll take it. And I'll Iono. And then I'll Quick Search after. Actually, I do want to Ultra Ball here, too. I could get rid of Radiant Charizard. I do have Night Stretcher still in the deck, I believe, or Rod or something. We'll get this guy back. I'll get him back. I've got ways to recover him. We'll take a Skeledirge here and just double checking. I got Rod and Night Stretcher and Magma Basin for Charizard. I've got Vessel in the deck, so I am going to need that to swing for just full KO, if nothing else. All right. We're at a sticky spot. Not the end of the world. My opponent can go Sableye next turn, but what do they do after that? I have no idea. For now, we'll go Iono. I've got 1 Iono left, and I'm going to use that in the late game. And we get Ultra Ball and Rod here. Okay. Alright, it's not bad. I could Ultra Ball these Pokemon away for what? I don't really need anything for now. I'm just going to Quick Search. I've got Rod. I could get back 3 energy next turn, too. Let's take a Vessel here. And with Vessel, I will get rid of Pidgey. And then I will search for 2 energy. And I definitely want to KO their active. That is for sure. So we are going to use both Incendiary Songs. I want to take 2 prize cards, especially knowing my opponent is going to take 2 prize cards next turn with Sableye. And I'll figure out how to follow up from there. For now, 130, item lock. I used an Iono, and I'm taking 2 prize cards, which feels amazing. So, we'll see what these prize cards are. I don't know if there's anything I'm truly searching for that bad next turn. Arven, Force Seal Stone. Those are actually 2 cards I'd love to get, because now I can use Arven to get my second Earthen Vessel. I can get 2 more energy out of the deck, and I can use Force Seal Stone for whatever I need. Just having access to it is kind of amazing. It allows me to take a KO on Sableye, see if my opponent has a good follow-up. If I could get some extra energy down, I'd love to, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I do surprisingly need 2 energy. I need double Incendiary Song to KO a Sableye because it has 80 HP, not 70, which is annoying, but it's okay because my opponent is flying through their deck. They are Lost Zoning everything. They're at 12 cards before they have attacked once, which means that to continue playing the game, well, they're probably going to need to Lost Zone a lot more. They're going to need to play more Colress, which means that Iono in the late game is going to be more and more effective. So they're going to move damage counters around. They need 60 of them to take 2 KOs on Budews. And they can put the remaining 60 on probably Lumineon if I had to take a guess. If I need, I can Force Heal Stone for Turo at any point. Just get Lumineon out of play. And this is where things get a little bit scary. I cannot use Skeledirge because I didn't get an energy attached last turn. That would have been awesome, but my opponent would have been able to play items. They still do have some Mirage Gates left. They've got 1 left, 1 last Mirage Gate. Let's promote Pidgeot EX here. I cannot Countercatcher yet, nor would I want to. I definitely just want to bench 1 Budew and KO my opponent's active. So let's search out Earthen Vessel here. And actually, I don't know if Rod... I don't know how many energy I have in the deck, so I think here's a Rod turn. I think I'm actually going to Rod back 2 energy and Radiant Charizard. Just to make sure Radiant Charizard's in the deck. And then I can... You know what? Let's Vessel away Pidgeotto. I've got Ultra Ball, so I can always get out Radiant Charizard whenever I need. I got 4 energy left in the deck. That's huge. Okay. Alright, that's pretty sweet. And I still have 1 energy in discard, so I could still Magma Basin at any point necessary. So let's... And actually, I could Quick Search too. Ooh, Fez. Little flip the script. Don't hurt anyone. let's do it. Let's do it. I got Force Heal Stone, not gonna use it yet. Don't absolutely need it, so I'm not gonna try it. And was Fez even in the deck? No, it's prized. Alright, so what else can I get? What else is worth it? I don't really need anything else, to be honest. You know what? Actually, I'll take an energy, and I'll manual attach that. I'll manual attach this thing to Skeledirge. It'll make it harder to follow up with Budew, but that's fine, because attacking with Skeledirge and Radiant Charizard to close out the end of the game feels phenomenal. So let's Incendiary Song twice. We've got 1 energy left in the deck. I am going to need that to attach to Skeledirge, and then I am going to need Magma Basin to set up my Radiant Charizard. Alright. We're good. We're good here. We're golden. Let's use Budew. My opponent actually could take out Lumineon next turn and leave Budew in the active if they use Sableye. That would be interesting. That would be a very, very interesting play, I'm not going to lie. Let's take our 1 prize card. We got 3 remaining, and we get Ultra Ball. Okay. I mean, hey, you know what? I can Ultra Ball away, Ultra Ball, Counter Catcher if I'm still ahead. If my opponent KOs Lumineon, well, Radiant Charizard will be live, and that feels phenomenal. So they got Bayonet in the active. They need a Sableye down before they use Puppet Offering, and they use Colress here. So here's where they're going to draw a massive hand, and now we're entering the time of game where I'm thinking about using that last Iono. I want to see my opponent down to 2 or 3 prize cards remaining before I use Iono, though. I want to ruin whatever is left in their hand, and they choose to get rid of Night Stretcher and Grass Energy. That's crazy. My opponent has 3 energy in the Lost Zone, and they have 5 energy in the discard pile. That is 8 energy in total. They cannot use Rod or Night Stretcher to bring them back. They get another Puppet Offering. They are 2-2-1. 2 Grass, 2 Psychic. They're 3 Grass, 3 Psychic, and 2 Jet Energy in the discard pile. They can use Artazon. They need a 4th Psychic Energy in hand to smack down on a, I was going to say Sableye, but no, they go Cram here. Cram KOing Budew is not the end of the world. I'm actually, like, very okay with that. They're going to use Puppet Offering, just put more things in their Lost Zone. They're going to get another Colress in the hand, which I am comfortable with. They've got 3 prize cards remaining. I don't think there is a world where they could take 3 prize cards next turn, but that's famous last words. Of course, my opponent is playing Lost Zone Giratina, and they're playing a spicy list, so Lord knows they could have literally anything in this deck. Now is not a bad time to Iono, but I think the better play here is to quick search for the energy and just swing. They can use... I don't want to give them access to items, though. Ugh. But I've only got 1 energy left, and I need 2 to take a KO with Budew. This is tough. This is tough. Alright. Now is around the time where I wish I had a second energy left. Or a second Rod in the deck. Maybe it's worth doing. Maybe. Let's get a Pokegear down. And Iono here doesn't feel too bad either, to be honest. They can just use Bayonet. Take out another Colress from the discard pile. Colress's Tenacity, does that get me anything? Not really. It gets me a Stadium and an Energy, which doesn't feel bad, to be honest. I could take Grand Tree and the final energy. I could just swing with Skeledirge. But then my opponent gets access to items. I'd be curious to see how they follow up, though, with items. Is that worth it? Is that worth it? Then I could save Iono for the turn after. You know what? No. Let's Iono now. Let's Iono now. Make it a little bit harder for my opponent to follow through. I'm going to attach Force Heal Stone. I'm not going to play Budew yet. I've got Artazon, so if I need to dig out Budew, I can dig out Budew. It's not the end of the world. And then I can still use Quick Search and Force Heal Stone for whatever I need to. And we get Night Stretcher for an energy back, which feels pretty amazing. Don't want to play it yet. Don't want to play it yet. For now, I think we go Quick Search, and I take out the last remaining energy from my deck to attach to Skeledirge EX, 330 HP, swinging for enough damage to take a KO on Cramorant, and I am not going to use my Force Heal Stone here. I don't, like, absolutely need anything. So we'll just retreat into Skeledirge and swing with Luster Burn. And I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's cool. Take a KO on Cram. My opponent can use Bayonet. they can use its ability to get another Colress into their hand. They can use items this turn too. So this is going to be the scariest turn of the game. And we get an energy out of the prize cards. That actually is so helpful right now. It's not even funny. I need more energy in this deck for sure. A second rod, 100% worth the inclusion. Maybe even over Night Stretcher, to be honest. Like, or 2 rod, 1 Night Stretcher, I think would be the perfect part of recovery. And they get Giratina V there. Oh my god, I am going to boss KO that thing if I've ever seen a boss KO. They cannot evolve this turn. They can just leave Bayonet in the active. They can use Shred. And they're using their last Mirage Gate to get a Grass and Psychic Energy attached to their active. But again, I don't think they can pull off a KO this turn. What they could have potentially done, if they had a Salvatore in their deck, they could have evolved Giratina V into Giratina V-Star this turn and used a, what do you call it? Star Requiem onto Skeledirge, and that would have destroyed me. But I think this is the most comfortable thing for us. So what do I need to do? I need to quick search for Boss's Orders, use Night Stretcher on an energy. I need to use Boss's Order. I need to use Double Incendiary Song just cuz, and then I will boss KO Giratina V. Take game with Skeledirge. So I will close out the video, ideally, with the support Pokemon attacking, which that's always my favorite way to close it. And they still are getting rid of more item cards. They get rid of a Switch card as well as an Ultra Ball. They must have got Giratina V-Star into their hand. They get another Bayonet to keep looping that Colress. Honestly, I like this engine. It's kind of a fun engine for the deck. It's really made them Iono proof. And there is a Rod to get back the much needed energy as well as Giratina V-Star to close out the game for my opponent. But I think, oh, Sableye. They have Giratina V-Star in hand, no doubt. They got Sableye. They are going to try to close out the game on their following turn. They Artazon to get Sableye down. Next turn, they can use Puppet Offering, but I think we've got game as long as Boss's Orders is in the deck. Well, if it's not, I'll have to figure something out. But I'm pretty sure I've seen it a couple times. I don't know. We'll find out. Unless we top deck it. That'd be huge. We don't. We get Rare Candy. Okay, that's fine. So, I actually could use my V-Star power as well. We've got so much here we can do. So for now, let's use Quick Search. Let's check if Boss is in the deck. And it is. And is there an energy? There is not. But I have a Night Stretcher, so we are okay. I am going to use Night Stretcher, take back an energy, of which we got 3 in the discard pile. I don't think I actually need to use Double Incendiary Song, because now we're doing, what, 220, right? Yeah. I mean, I will, just to, you know, just cuz. More damage always be kind of fun. And then we're going to go Boss's Orders, Giratina V, and swing 280, closing out the match. Never got to use Forest Seal Stone, to be honest. I just realized that now. I didn't need anything. Didn't need anything. Dude, that is 3-0 with an absolutely insane deck. This might be, and there is another energy in Fezandipiti. Man, I was down 2 energy that game. That's why I was struggling for him so much. All right, doesn't matter. We closed it out. We won. That is A-okay by me. That is all that matters, is that we got to see the victory screen and go 3-0 with Budew Skeledirge, a truly insane way to play Budew. This way is a ton of fun. I've seen a few builds of this deck. I like this build a lot. I think we just need one more Rod. I think one more Rod would kind of be perfect on this list, and I think going forward, that's definitely what I'm going to switch to, but I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Again, Rogue Regionals, February 8th. Tune into that. It's going to be an awesome time. I'm going to see a bunch of Rogue decks running it, and we'll see who will take down the top. I will be posting the list of decks being played very soon, actually probably by the end of the week. I'm not going to be posting the 60s yet, that might be a day of type thing, but I will be posting the, like, overall what Pokemon is each deck and who will be piloting it. So, you know, if you guys want to stay tuned, start thinking of which deck is going to take it down, be my guest. For now, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Prismatic Evolution's Deck Showcases. I appreciate sharing the space with you, and I hope you guys are doing amazing. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.